Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I'm starting off with no makeup on because I am going to be doing a video where I'm going to follow another YouTuber's look that they have done. I really liked how it came out, so I thought I would test it for myself. And the look that I will be following today is Jaclyn Hill's new video where she does the, it's like a subtle cat eye. I really liked it and I thought, well, I've got most of the eyeshadow shades, so I might try it out for myself. So if you would like to see how this look winds up turning out, then please just keep watching. I'm just going to kind of skip past some of the intro that she does. She basically just says that she was going to do like something bright to play around with makeup, but then she decided to go for something that a lot of people are kind of wearing because they're not doing the right lot lately. So I will actually just pop the video here of what the look actually looks like, and then we'll just get started.
So we're going to go from this to this.
Right, so she's just taking a concealer to prime her eyelids first. So I'm going to take the MAC 24-Hour Studio Fix Concealer and the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and I'm just going to
So for today's look, I'm going to be starting off with my eyes. I actually typically start off with my face, always like prime the face, go in with the whole concealer,
I've
foundation.
I've actually watched this video and I know that she just put the concealer just there. So I'm going to make sure that I get plenty in there because she does say that in her video. In a second.
I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes. So prime them any way that you are comfortable with. I always prime mine with concealer.
She doesn't actually show what she blends it out with, but I assume that she uses her sponge. So I'm just going to quickly go in and do that while she's doing that inner corner bit. And
when I'm priming my eyes, I make sure to also get in the inner corners as well. All up in here.
And I can understand why she does this inner corner trick because, like she says, once you've got all your eyeshadow on and blended, if you go back in with your foundation, it is hard to like recover up this dark centre bit.
Okay, now I'm going to set my eyes with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Powder.
So I don't actually have that powder that she is using, so I'm just going to use the Kat Von D loose powder, and I will use the sponge as well like she's doing it. I don't particularly normally do this, but we'll give it a go.
With my damp beauty sponge and just go over the entire eye area because I personally do not like putting my shadows over top of any cream on my eyes because it just gets choppy when trying to blend it out. Okay, so first order of business, I'm going to grab a bronzer. Any bronzer that you use, that you own, that you love would work for this trick. This is something that is not just excluded to this look only. This is something that I do all the time and I love it. It's so easy if you're doing a super simple look or even if you're doing a super smoky look. I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush. This is my brush.
I don't have that brush, so I'm going to just go in with this is just one that I got out of a set and doesn't actually have a number on it. It's just a big fluffy blending brush.
Just lightly put that right there in my crease. I have a little much on my brush, so I'm going to kind of tap off the excess right there. And then we are staying on the outer corner, lightly applying this. Notice where I'm holding my brush right now. And I'm always, always, always talking about and addressing the way people hold their brushes because I see people like doing their makeup like this and then it doesn't turn out the way that you want it to. And so I'm always talking about how to hold your brushes because it makes such a difference in application. It's the same as a paint.
So she's not like putting it anywhere in this section, so I'm just doing the same. I'm just keeping it towards the outer third of the eye and just putting that colour in.
So nice and light and like feather type motions. And now that we barely have anything left on that brush, we're just gonna go kind of up and out towards the brow. If I had a lot of product on my brush right now, this would look terrible, but we barely have any left on there. And I have not re-dipped. I'm still using what I originally picked up on my brush.
Right, so what she does is she does one eye and then she'll like do the other eye off camera. So I'm gonna do that just so that this video doesn't get really too long.
Okay, now I'm gonna grab my Volume 2 palette right here. Let me open it up for you. This is a palette that I have used many times, so it is a little dirty. I apologize. I'm gonna go in first with this shade right here, Perfectionist. Can you see it on camera very well? It's got a little bit of a peachy undertone. It's not super pink, but it's also not just like a true brown. There definitely is a peach to it.
Right, so she says obviously these shadows are quite pigmented, so I think she's not building up her brush too much, so I'm gonna do that.
I'm gonna take that shade again on a JH31, same brush I was using before, and I'm gonna put it up in that higher area of.
So she's keeping it on the highest points of the crease.
To not bring this on the inner corner. That is so important for this look if you want to achieve foxy eyes, cat eyes, fierce looking eyes.
And I am actually just using the same brush. I don't know if she actually picked up another version of that brush, but I am just using the same one I just used.
We are going to just go ahead and keep this on the outer portion of the eye only, and then kind of repeat the same steps as before, where when we don't have much product left on the brush, we're gonna start to kind of go up and blend out. And now I wiped off my brush a little bit. There's pretty much nothing on it whatsoever. So I'm just gonna go over that whole outer edge area to make sure that everything is blended. No choppiness, no gaps, none of that. That is not the biz. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with the shade G Money right here. I named this after my dog.
Right, so she's going in obviously with the G Money shade, and she's going in with a smaller fluffier brush. I'm just gonna go in something like this. It's a bit similar to like the Sigma E25.
I do say so myself because it is such a warm, beautiful, rich, matte, pigmented brown. I use this color all the time. I'm gonna pick that up on a smaller fluffy brush. This is the JH33. I'm gonna pat this right here on the outer corner of my eye. You can see how warm this shade is. Okay, and then same thing as before. I'm gonna take this brush, now there's barely any product on it, lightly up and out towards the brow. I'm not taking it up here, I'm taking it up and out here. So we wanna be like a nice little flick, but because I don't have brows that are like over like this, like if I had brows that were like that, or I shaved the tip of my brow and just redid my tail, then we could really take this out. But I don't want to extend this past my natural brow and the natural curvature of my brow bone. You know what I'm going to do really quick, which this could have been done in the very beginning, like the first step, I just forgot. I'm going to go in with the first shade right here in my palette, the shade Certified. You can also just use any light white powder, a face powder.
So it looks like she's using kind of a fluffy brush to do that, so I'm quickly just going to go in and do the same.
Lightly dust that and pat it on the inner corner. This is a pigmented light shade, so I'm going to try not to put too much because I don't want it to be like bam stark white. I just kind of want it to look like I was about to say flesh. That is like so aggressive. I just want it to look like flesh. I want it to look like skin. Make sure that you take that shade and put it nice and generous in this inner corner right here. Actually. Kind of up towards the brow. I'm gonna bounce over to my Ring the Alarm palette right here. This is a 10 pen. This is a 10 pen palette that I created with Morphe. Okay, now I'm gonna pick up the shade Secret with a JH40 brush. This is a very tiny, precise brush, and I'm going.
Right, so I just have this brush here. It's like a small-ish, it's not as small as a pencil brush because it just looks as though her brush has a bit more blend to it. So this will hopefully kind of create the same kind of thing that she's doing.
To literally just tap this right here in the outer corner because I do not want it to be too harsh. And the reason I always tap right here only on the lid and not up in the actual crease is because it's gonna just push a good amount of product and just let it sit there, and then I'll go in and blend it out however I choose to do. Okay, and now with barely anything left on that brush, same as before, we are just so slightly going to just bring this up and out. Now what I'm going to do is go back in with two more shades. I'm gonna go in with Perfectionist one more time and Comfort Zone. I'm just gonna mix these two together really lightly on another.
So like she said, you don't have to use the same brushes, and I am literally just going to go in with the same brush that I used in the beginning, just so that then I'm not using a ton of brushes, so it's easy like if any of you lot want to recreate it. So like I'm going in with Comfort Zone and Perfectionist, mixing them two together, and I'm tapping off the excess because I don't know if this is the same brush, but we'll see. And she's just blending this a little bit more.
I just keep picking up mine because I'm selfish like that. I'm just going to go over this one more time, just because I feel like it needed to be richened up just a pinch. Okay, so now I'm going to do eyeliner. So I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline Eye Studio Gel Liner. I've been using this for years, you guys, like years. I'm gonna be doing a wing liner, but I'm going to make it thicker on the outer edge, and I'm gonna make it as thin as possible on the inner corner of my eye.
So she's going in with the gel eyeliner. I am not the best at gel eyeliner. I don't mind it, but I personally prefer the felt tip one. If you know from watching my previous video, then you'll know that I prefer to use this. So what she's basically doing is doing thin and then doing a thick end. So I'm going to do that, but with this. So you can just use whatever you've got really. If you prefer gel, if you prefer the ones with the brush, if you prefer felt tip, just use whatever you want. Like you'll get kind of the same effect. So I'm going to try it her way on the corner. Sometimes I do it the other way.
So you want it to go from thin to thick. I personally always start my winged eyeliner on the corner of my eye. It's really hard to talk while doing this. I'm going to just connect it right like that.
See, this is the easy bit about having a felt tip, because you can just literally use the side of it and go along
I
your
want
lash line.
both of them to be a little bit more elevated, and this is one of the reasons why we do eyes first and not face then eyes, because we have the luxury of making this adjustment. So I'm just gonna get a clean angled brush. So I'm just gonna use a little lotion.
So I'm gonna
put it on the back of my hand. I'm just gonna take my brush. I'm just gonna dip it into that lotion.
And I do have a
and
clean
go
angled
in
brush as well.
and change the shape of this wing. So I'm just going to elevate it and lift it up. Like so.
I haven't actually altered mine that much. I've only done it a little tiny bit, but I just wanted to see if that lotion trick worked, and that is actually a really good tip.
Okay, so now I'm gonna do a totally not needed step. I'm gonna go back into my Volume 2 palette and go in with the shade Temptress right here. I'm just gonna take it on a stiff little definer brush like this guy right here, and I'm going to just stamp this right over top of that liner and then lightly kind of like floof it up. Now we get to go in with mascara. Giving my lashes a nice thick coat of black mascara so that they blend really nicely with the false lashes. Okay, so for this look, I'm gonna go in with the Lash Style Miami.
So I'm using the Maybelline Big Colossal, and this is the one in Daring Black. So this should be as black as she says it needs to be. Right, I have just kind of skipped ahead a little bit. So on her video, so what she does is she applies false lashes, and she kind of sticks it up in this corner a little bit. I will play it while I'm doing it. So for my lashes today, I'm going to go in with the Ardell Double Ups. These are the Double Up Wispies. I don't have kind of ones that she has, so I just thought I'd go for something like this.
Looking down in my mirror, pop it on that area. The drier your lash glue is, the better. It is so difficult to work with freshly wet lash glue. It's like near impossible. So make sure you wait a minute or two to get your glue nice and tacky. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the inner corner of my eye. And then the trick, I'm sure you guys have heard of this, but it works like you have no idea. On the outer corner of your eye, instead of putting your lashes straight down on your actual lash line, you're just gonna let the lash be a little bit above the lash line.
The tip really does actually work. It looks really effective. So I'll quickly put on the other one, back in a sec.
So now I'm going to take a little bit of moisturizer on my under eye and just wipe this area.
She's actually just taking some moisturizer on a kind of cotton bud and wiping away the excess. I can't actually see any makeup, so this will be quite interesting to see if there is actually any. Actually, there is. Not loads. Not as much as what she got, but just
put that all over my skin.
Right, so she's just using her normal primer, so I'm gonna go in with mine at the moment. And I've currently just been using the Max Factor one, as I really like this.
Okay, so for foundation, I'm gonna go in with the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation right here. This is in the shade Sand. It is a goldy undertone shade. I'm just gonna do a couple stripes.
So I don't have that, so I'm gonna go in with the Anastasia one, as I've really been liking this again at the moment.
After that, I'm actually going to grab my Graftobian palette. Oh, you guys, I'm so obsessed with this freaking palette. I used to use this back in the day. The way I'm gonna go about this is take my sponge, grab my shades, and then I'm just going to go in over top of that Hourglass
so she's using
foundation.
the Graftobian one. I don't have that, so I'm gonna use my normal Revolution Conceal and Define and kind of mix these two together. I am doing the same method that she is, like doing like another foundation. That Graftobian is very high coverage. That's why I wanted to go in with this one, just so that then I should hopefully get kind of like a similar finish. The primer that she actually used though is a very glowy primer, I think, if it's the one that she's used before. Obviously I don't have super glowy primers because I do have oily skin. Because that Max Factor one, it's kind of like for all skin types, so it's not too matte and it's not too like shiny either. It's kind of like in the middle. So I'm just kind of copying what she's doing.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with my concealer. I'll be honest, you guys, I do not understand Morphe.
So she's just using the same concealers that she used before, so I'm just gonna do the same.
With all these different letters and numbers. I personally, oh sorry, I have something stuck to my lip. I personally like concealers that say light,
So I'm assuming she'll blend it out with a sponge, so I'll do that and I'm back in a sec.
Okay, so now I'm going to grab that same Graftobian palette again. I'm going to go
so she is cream contouring, so I'm going to use my usual Revolution to feel it conceal and define, but instead of putting it on my face like I normally do, I'm actually going to put it on the back of my hand, because she only does it in like a little certain area.
I'm using a Smashbox brush. It's called the Cream Cheek Brush. That's kind of perfect. So I'm just going to lay that down and blend it upward. And then every time I use cream, I grab my beauty sponge and just go over it to make sure that there's no choppiness, didn't break up my makeup at all, and we are in business. And then up around the forehead as well, blend that down. I'm gonna grab some of that on a smaller brush and put it on the sides of my nose for just a little cream contour effect.
Right, so I've never actually really done this before. I never really like contour my nose, but there's a first time for everything, so we're gonna give it a go. So I'm gonna try it with this brush and see what happens. So she just kind of puts it where she contours, so I'm gonna do the same.
Now for my under eyes, I'm going to go in with the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, as always. I'm gonna grab this yellow shade right here in the middle. It's a banana. Oh my God, I almost just dropped that so bad. It is a yellow banana shade. I'm gonna pick it up on my same damp
so
beauty
she's
sponge.
taking the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I do actually have that palette, and I cannot actually remember the last time I actually used this to set my under eyes. It does look really nice though, but I can't remember the last time I actually used it. And I used to use it a lot because I've nearly hit pan on every single shade. I'm going to mix the two shades, like the lightest one and this one, just because obviously I'm a little bit fairer skin tone than her. So if I just do all of that, I'm probably going to wind up being like really dark. So I'm going to just set it like she is.
And then for my face, I'm gonna go in with the same Charlotte Tilbury powder that I used to set my eyes when I was priming. This is the Magic Powder Eye and Face Setting Powder. I'm gonna use a big old fluffy brush for this.
She's using the same powder that she used before, so I'm gonna use my Kat Von D one again. She's just using a big brush,
face
so
with a light coating of this powder. Okay, so I wanna be real bronze today. So I'm gonna go in with a very warm bronzer. This is by Morphe, and this is the shade Megastar. Oh, if you love a good bronzer.
So I'm going to go in with the Essence Sun Club bronzer because this is really warm toned like she wants it to be. So I'm going to go in with this. I'm just taking the usual brush that I use to bronze. I've had it for that long now, the numbers have actually worn off. It's just like a big thingy brush. And I'm just doing what she is.
Such an amazing brush. And there's no numbers or anything on it. It just says Pat McGrath Labs, and it looks like this. And it's a bomb brush. I'm just gonna go in, follow the natural curvature of my cheekbone, and just bronze that bitch up. I'm gonna bring it over to the cheeks because I love a bronze cheek. I'm just gonna do a touch of that on the forehead. I'm going to grab some Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder, and I'm going to just carve, even though I'm making a curve.
She is going to bake her contour. Now, if you've ever watched any of my videos, I don't generally bake. I am not a person that bakes, but because she has done it, I am going to do it, and it's the same powder just because I've been using it for everything else. She did go in with like a different powder. I don't really know why, but we'll do the same.
I'm going to use Hoola bronzer, and I'm going to use my brush. This is the JH15, and just give myself a quick little nose job. Just a little one.
Right, so she lets this sit while she does her brows. She doesn't show her brows, so I'm going to quickly just go and do mine, how I've been doing them, just with a bit of brow gel, and I'm back in a sec. Right, I've actually just filled in one brow, and then I realised that I actually forgot to do the nose contour, so I'm just taking the Hoola bronzer that she used and a big fluffy brush and just adding more to this, which seems like a lot, like especially for me because I don't really do this, but she's done it, so we're gonna do it. And I probably could actually contour my nose more than what I actually do because I do have a slightly bigger nose, but I don't know, I just don't feel that I need to. It's just me. I've embraced having like a bit. A lot of people tend to call it a button nose, so I've kind of just embraced that, and it is what it is. So, but anyway, I'll do my other brow and I'm back in a sec. Right, so she actually wipes her bake off camera and then just touches up her liner a little bit. I don't think mine actually needs that much touching up, to be fair. I think it looks okay. So we're just going to quickly dust away this. Like I see it's a little bit more chiseled, but it's not hundreds. Let's have a little look.
Yes, I want to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder right
Okay, so now we're going in with a light powder, okay.
here. This is actually way too light for me, so... But I'm actually going to go in and
to do
press
this,
a little.
because I'm trying to find a light powder, I'm going to go in with this one here. This is out of the Revolution, Makeup Revolution contour kit. You could use whatever you wanted, and I'm just going to take the Kat Von D, just the other brush, and she's just like tapping this here.
Okay, so now for blush, I'm going to go in with some pinky peachy tones. I'm really feeling the pinky peachy corally vibe.
Peachy pink. So I'm going to use this one that I got in a Birchbox, and it's called Botanic Beauty London. It's called Pink Freesia, and it just looks like this. It looks really nice.
I'm also going to take this blush, put a little bit on my nose, just for like a little moment.
Okay, I've never actually done that with putting the blush on the nose, but it actually looks quite nice. So she's going in with a powder, and as I'm looking at her skin looks a lot more glowy than mine. I think it's obviously the foundation stuff. So what I'm going to do this step that she's doing, I'm going to go in with her powder, and this is the one in called Dew Me Up. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing that she's doing, but I'm literally just going to pop this around like she's doing, just to give myself a bit more of an added glow like she has. Because she looks a lot more glowier than what I do right now.
So I'm just going to take a little bit and dust that down. Hello. Okay, so now for the under eyes, we are going to keep it so simple because that's the whole point.
I'm actually just going to go in with a pencil brush so that I can be a bit more precise.
Certified with the exact same brush as earlier, because since I applied concealer and powder and everything doesn't look the same. So I'm just going to go over.
So she's going back in with this shade again, so I'm just going to use the same brush that I used, which was the Real Techniques Base Shadow Brush.
Inner corner of my eye one more time with that light shade to make it nice and bright. And you can see the difference between this eye and that eye. And if you don't like the brightness on the inner corner here, then don't do it. It does not need to be done, but it's definitely going to bring more attention and open up the eye and reflect off the inner corner.
So for her bottom lashes, she's using the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. So I'm just going to use the same.
Okay, I'm gonna put some mascara on my lower lashes and we will be done with the eyes. Okay, I'm gonna line my lips now.
Right, so I've been trying to go through my makeup and try and find a peachy-ish colour that goes with this. So I've decided to go with, it's Ofra Cosmetics and it's the lip liner in Nude. So I'm gonna line my lips with this first.
And then put on a liquid lip and a gloss.
And I am just slightly overlining them because obviously Jaclyn does have quite big lips. Then I'm going in with Kind of Sexy.
I'm going to go in with the shade Todd Cranes by Kylie Cosmetics. I want to do this one today. It's much peachier. And then for gloss, I have been using this like crazy recently, you guys. It's by Dior and it's called the Lip Glow Oil. It says it's Color Reviver Cherry Oil.
And then she puts like a lip oil on. But what I'm actually going to do is put the MAC lip gloss on in Pearl, just because it's like a peachiest lip, so it'll kind of make it a little bit more like hers. Just kind
it
of
is the glossiest gloss of all time. Okay, so for some last finishing touches, I'm going to grab my Flash palette. This was from my holiday collection right here. Some of those shades and just highlight down the center of my nose just a little bit. A little exclamation mark.
Right, so she doesn't actually say what she's using. I'm assuming she's using the brightest one because it does look really intense. So I'm going to go in with Gleam and I'm just taking a detailer brush and she just goes... Maybe not that one. I'm going to try this brush instead and I'm going to actually mix Gleam and Iced because Gleam's just a bit too intense for me.
Just do a smidge on my chin. I know I say this a lot, but I really don't want today's look to be about highlight. I think this is good right here. I'm not even going to put any on my cheeks. I think my cheeks look glowy enough as it is. It's just like very natural.
So I think she's then switched back to her own brush, so I'm going to mix the two shades I just did on the J02 brush. Put a little bit on the chin. So I'm going to be using my Urban Decay normal setting spray, and I need to open my new one because I'm out of my other one.
Alright you guys, so this is the completed look right here.
Right, so this is the finished look. What do you guys think? Do you think it looks like hers? Do you think it doesn't? I really like how it came out. I do really like this skin. Ignore this a little bit here on my nose. My nose on this side has been peeling a little bit. So yeah, but I really like how the skin looks. It looks really nice. Looks quite fresh. I actually quite like my nose, to be fair. It doesn't look too crazy as what I thought it would. But yeah, I really like how it came out. I know this has been a little bit of a longer video. I have tried to shorten it a little bit, so I am sorry about that. But obviously her video was actually like 31 minutes long, so I tried to like cut it down as much as possible. But I really like how the eyes came out. It's a really nice effect on keeping the inner corner quite bright. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this video of me following another YouTuber's video, then please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. It's so good to see Jaclyn Hill just filming videos again, because honestly you can learn so much from her. She has so many tips and tricks, and like different eye looks, stuff like that, how to do really soft blended makeup, like doing the little flicks and stuff. I really like how she does her makeup, and I think she is a really good at explaining exactly everything that she is doing and for why she is doing it. So if you have enjoyed this makeup look, then please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. It helps me out so much, and I will just catch you in my next one. Alright, bye guys.